Wild pigs are the #1 enemy of farmers in the area, including me. And the fight against them seems to be endless as they reproduce rapidly and cause terrible damage. Although many measures have been taken to deal with them, they are not very effective, especially in Texas, where they grow rapidly due to the abundance of food. Many veteran hunters in the area have honed their skills in hunting wild boars, killing one with one shot. The wild boars in this area are no joke. They are intelligent, stubborn, and extremely aggressive when attacked. Even so, we still have to confront them, not for the pleasure of hunting, but to protect the fields. We gathered early in the morning and planned an effective hunt. The group divided into small groups and assigned ambushes in different locations. Our indispensable companions were the hunting dogs. Experienced hunters say, hunting wild boars is not an easy task. They have thick, sharp tusks and are very intelligent animals. They are very aggressive and unpredictable when hunted. The fur and skin of wild boars are very thick, and they react very quickly, so it is not easy to take them down with a shot. That it didn't take long for the dogs to find a large wild boar. They surrounded and drove the prey to the location where we were ambushing, just waiting for the wild boar to appear. The bullet would kill it instantly. Just after killing this wild boar, a report came from the radio that there was a large herd of wild boars active in the eastern part of the mountain. We quickly moved there, and indeed a herd of about 15 wild boars was running away when they heard the gunshots. All hunting teams opened fire. We prioritized killing the leaders or the largest ones. To aim accurately is not easy. It not only requires the hunter's skills, but also depends on the type of hunting gun used each time. With good position and range, we shot down a few of the largest, the rest ran away in all directions. We divided our teams to hunt them down, determined not to let any wild boar escape. After many hunting trips, we realized that wild boars need to be shot accurately so that they cannot escape. Because if they escape this time, they will return and cause even worse destruction. Some of the wild boars escaped and hid in the dense forest. We tracked them down and killed a few more wild boars. In the afternoon, we gradually retreated to the area near the farm, where wild boars often appear to feed. Sure enough, near the fence, we found a few wild boars grazing. A loud explosion tore the silence apart, and the wild boar collapsed on the spot. We quickly went to check and found that it was a giant wild boar. Before dark, we moved to the pig trap area to see if any were nearby. These traps are usually set around the mountainous areas, baited with corn kernels to lure them out. Approaching the trap, we found a wild boar. It was eating the bait while looking around warily. In fact, wild boars are very smart. They often run away when they hear strange noises or feel danger. Therefore, we need to approach them slowly so that they do not detect us. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. It was my friend Evant next to me who fired. The wild boar collapsed, it struggled a few times, and then became still. Before returning to the village, we encountered another wild boar. Evant took it down with a single shot. After taking inventory and collecting the spoils, we returned to the village to rest and regain our strength. Every week, we organized a small-scale hunt. Every month, a large-scale hunt with the determination to not let them destroy the crops anymore. today's video ends here. Hopefully we will bring you an interesting topic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. I never thought I would one day be holding a gun, soaring through the air in a helicopter, chasing giant wild hogs across the vast plains of Texas. And yet, what seemed like an impossible task has become a reality. This has to do with Randy, a college friend of mine. He lives in Texas and was planning a daring wild boar hunt. Wild boars are invasive, reproduce rapidly, destroy crops, attack livestock, and can even be dangerous to humans. So, ranchers have taken a drastic approach to controlling them, hunting them from helicopters. Before boarding the helicopter, I had to attend a 2-hour training session accompanied by Randy and Mike, an experienced hunter, and also our trainer. All right, here we go. Clear. The helicopter quickly rose above the wild grasslands and sparse forests. I observed a herd of wild boars running away because the sound of the helicopter was too loud. When we were at a certain height, Mike signaled us to take aim. Of the helicopter drove the wild boars out of their hiding places. We were in charge of destroying them from the air. The sound of the explosion, mixed with the noise of the helicopter, caused a series of wild boars to fall. I realized that wild boars do not always stay still on the ground. They run fast, turn unexpectedly, and are very good at hiding in the bushes. Shooting from the air, while it may seem cool, is actually extremely difficult. That in the vast grasslands, hunting wild boars would be easier because our vision was also clear. As long as we aimed accurately, we could kill many wild boars at once. When large herds of wild boars are seen, the helicopter will slow down, giving us an opportunity to shoot them down. Hunting wild boar by helicopter is unlike any other hunt. The helicopter must stay high enough to be safe, but low enough to shoot accurately. The pilot and shooter must work as a team, because one misstep can give the wild boar a chance to escape. No matter how fast the wild boar is, it cannot escape the sweep from the helicopter. With the naked eye, you can see dozens of wild boars lying on the field as the helicopter moves over. There are herds of pigs that are completely destroyed. Not a single one can escape. Many of you may think that the helicopter sweep of feral pigs is cruel, but it would be even crueler if it did not act, because acres of Texas farmers' crops have been destroyed by these feral pigs. If left unchecked, there could be more feral pigs than eager to escape. You see, hunting wild boar with a helicopter is much more efficient than traditional hunting methods. Since the helicopter covers a large area, it also drives wild boars out of their hiding places. The more wild boars that appear, the more wild boars we kill. Not only operating on the field, the helicopter also covered a large plateau surrounding the field. Although there were many bushes, the wild boars still had a hard time escaping the pursuit. Over the course of 2 hours, Mike and Randy and I took out dozens of wild pigs. Some were taken down instantly, others required several shots. At times, entire herds were so deeply hidden in the brush that we had to circle them several times to force them out. All the wild boars that were shot down were very large in size. Presumably, they were the lead pigs involved in the farm destruction. Helicopter wild boar usually lasts only 2 hours to ensure the health of the hunters. After landing, we inventory the spoils. Some will be given to local families. Some will be taken to slaughterhouses for meat processing. Our dramatic journey of hunting pigs from the sky has ended. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to watch more videos.
When night falls, the vast wilderness becomes mysterious and dangerous. The people living near the forests often hear eerie growls and haunting cries echoing through the darkness, signaling the presence of massive wild boars. These creatures silently roam in search of food, destroying crops, and even causing unexpected accidents. But this time, the hunters are ready to confront them. What intense moments await? Let's dive into this thrilling adventure now. Wild boars are mysterious creatures, especially active at night, causing serious problems. They not only devastate farmland, but are also responsible for thousands of traffic accidents yearly, around 2,500 in Germany alone. In Japan, wild boar-related damage costs millions of dollars annually, primarily occurring at night. To control their population, many countries have implemented measures such as electric fences, deterrent devices, and increased regulated hunting. At around 11 p.m., our hunting team arrived at a vast field. Just hours ago, the place was quiet, but now it had transformed into a true battlefield. After positioning ourselves and checking our weapons, we scanned the area using thermal optics. Slowly, the silhouettes of wild boars emerged against the stillness of the night. The silence was shattered by gunfire, flashes of muzzle fire illuminating the darkness. The startled boars panicked and bolted in all directions, but it was too late. One by one, they collapsed amid the thick haze of gun smoke. A few managed to run, but our distant snipers quickly finished them off. Silhouettes fell across the field. This was truly a brutal battle. A massive wild boar suddenly emerged right in my line of sight. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The gunshot rang out, and the bullet struck its mark. The beast staggered, took a few unsteady steps, and then collapsed onto the hardened earth. Meanwhile, across the field, another herd of wild boars was rummaging through the land, completely unaware of the impending danger. But as soon as the first shot was fired, they shrieked in terror and dashed wildly in every direction. Their frantic escape lasted only seconds. We had already anticipated their movements and were prepared. Our rifles swiftly adjusted, locking onto new targets. A barrage of gunfire tore through the night, cutting off their escape. One by one, the boars fell in the misty haze of gun smoke. The hunt wasn't over yet, and the echoes of gunfire still lingered over the battlefield. We took aim at a lone wild boar standing still in the middle of the field. Unaware that it was the final target, it stood motionless. One precise shot. The bullet struck with deadly accuracy. The beast froze for a split second before crashing to the ground, marking the dramatic conclusion of this relentless pursuit. And then, as expected, the wild boars silently emerged, moving cautiously into my field of vision. I took a deep breath, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. The boar jerked violently as the bullet struck, then collapsed onto the ground. The rest of the herd panicked, scattering in all directions. My teammates immediately opened fire, each shot delivered with precision. The night was no longer a safe haven for these wild beasts. Moving deeper into the field, we spotted another herd of wild boars tearing through the land. We wasted no time and opened fire in unison. Amid the dense darkness, the gunfire echoed sharply, composing a fierce symphony for this thrilling hunt. The boars recoiled in fear, desperately trying to escape, but it was too late. Our coordinated shots took them down one by one. Within minutes, the once quiet field had transformed into a battlefield. Wild boar carcasses lay scattered across the smoke-filled air, the scent of gunpowder still lingering. Steadying my breath, I followed their tracks cautiously, ensuring each step was silent. The freezing wind carried the pungent scent of wild beasts, heightening my senses. My eyes remained locked on the elusive target, hiding among the shadows. Taking one last deep breath, I adjusted my aim. Then, in a decisive moment, I pulled the trigger, a powerful shot shattering the silence. The last of the wild boars fell, unable to escape. As the night slowly regained its eerie stillness, the battlefield bore the marks of a hard-fought victory. We gathered our trophies, closing another successful hunt.
Hey, what you got there, bud?
Kill him right there.
It was a night filled with danger, but also a welcome triumph. However, we know that the battle against wild boars is far from over. Our mission continues as we strive to protect the local people from these destructive beasts. What are your thoughts on tonight's hunt? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling hunting adventures.
Having been a hunter for many years, I've experienced quite a few thrilling chases. But stepping foot in Louisiana for the first time, everything still made me restless and excited like a rookie. The air here was thick with the smell of damp earth, dry leaves rustling beneath my feet, and wild sounds occasionally echoing from afar. I knew I was about to enter a hunt unlike any I'd experienced before. We had carefully planned the hunt for several days, and now it was time to officially begin. First, the whole team took advantage of early morning to check the bait traps. In Louisiana, hunting laws are very strict, especially regarding mechanical traps that can injure animals. Therefore, bait traps are still widely used and considered more legal. Look over there, a herd of wild boars, busily rooting around the trap. My heart rate spiked. I raised my gun, aimed at the boar standing closest to the edge for the best shot, then squeezed the trigger. The shot rang out, and the boar collapsed instantly. The rest scattered in panic. It was a bit disappointing to take down only one, but such a start wasn't bad at all. Leaving the trap area, I happened to come across a deep waterhole with a few wild boars lingering nearby. Though not very large in size, each one looked plump and healthy, enough to stir the hunter's blood in me. However, these creatures were incredibly sensitive and alert. Even the slightest noise would set them off, and they'd scatter before I had any chance to take aim. In the end, I decided to climb up a high hunting stand to lie in wait. One wild boar slowly approached the stand, unaware of the danger ahead. This was my chance. I quickly raised my gun and fired, but the shot missed, and the lucky boar managed to escape. A gentle start like that was enough. I climbed down from the stand and began to carry my rifle deeper into the forest, searching for traces of other boars. It didn't take long before the next target appeared. Today was truly a lucky day for me. I kept running into one group after another. This time, I couldn't rush it. I quietly raised my gun, held my breath, focused my eyes for a perfect aim, and pulled the trigger. A single clean shot, the boar crashed down hard, lying stiff on the forest floor. By the afternoon, the whole team decided to change tactics. We drove an airboat to hunt wild boars out in the fields. I sat on the deck of the boat, clutching my gun tightly and scanning every nook and cranny. There it was, a boar appeared on the right without any signal. My friend Ash immediately steered in that direction, waiting until the boat ran parallel to the prey. With a perfect aim, I didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. The shot didn't instantly take down the boar, but it wounded it badly enough that it jumped up, then lay thrashing until it was exhausted. Just look at its size, clearly a formidable pest. Luckily, today we managed to take it down. Driving an airboat to hunt wild boars in the fields is definitely an experience you must try in Louisiana. Unlike the tension in every step through the forest, the vast open fields become a playground of speed and reflexes. The roaring engine and the sound of digging into the ground easily alert the boars and make them flee, so there's no room for hesitation. As soon as the prey shows up, we have to aim quickly and squeeze the trigger in a split second. One missed shot and the boars will slip into the tall grass and disappear immediately. Ash steered the airboat to another, less dense area. The hunters in the team split up, each watching a different direction. 15 minutes passed in silence when suddenly Harry stood up and pointed forward. A small wild boar was glimpsed in the distance. A burst of gunfire rang out. The target was completely taken down. So another boar's carcass was loaded onto the boat. The hunt ended with results beyond expectations. Although the whole team was exhausted, everyone was filled with excitement. Louisiana did not disappoint. Wild boars, the experience, and the feeling of satisfaction after each successful shot are truly hard to describe in words. How do you feel about today's hunt? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to follow more thrilling hunts. Lately, wild boars have been appearing in large numbers on the fields near my home and surrounding areas in Missouri. They've been rooting around and damaging the crops, causing everyone to lose sleep over it. As an experienced hunter, I couldn't just stand by and watch these pests run wild any longer. So, along with a few friends, we decided to set up an ambush on the grassland where the boars often gather to feed. The hunt began in a tense atmosphere, as our opponents were far from easy to deal with. As soon as dawn broke, we were already on the field. The wild boars were familiar with the way and usually came here early in the day to forage. The whole team hid behind the earth mounds and waited for these destructive animals to appear. The silence was so deep that every small sound seemed amplified. I suddenly heard footsteps crunching on dry leaves, and just seconds later, a wild boar dashed out from the edge of the trees into the meadow. I immediately took the chance, raised my rifle, and closely followed the running prey. The first shot was a bit hurried and missed, but I still managed to adjust in time and fired a second, accurate shot. The boar fell down instantly, lying motionless on the dew-covered grass. Next, I climbed up a high earth mound for a better view. From this position, I could see almost the entire field below, a big advantage if prey appeared from afar. Sure enough, in less than 10 minutes, another wild boar suddenly appeared from a dry bush about 30 meters away. I raised my rifle reflexively, but it ran too fast, making aiming difficult. Wild boars are big, but can run as fast as any animal. At that moment, I just squeezed the trigger by feel, but its speed and agility were beyond my expectations. I fixed my eyes on the dense bushes in front. There was no place to hide here, so I had to fight alone in silence and patience. Unexpectedly, two wild boars slowly walked out from afar. I held my breath, trying to aim very carefully. One shot, two shots. After several misses, one finally got hit. Before I could catch my breath, suddenly a gunshot rang out on the other side of the meadow. I guessed it was my friend Jackson. Although I was not sure about the situation there, I quickly got into a ready position. There it was. The boar was approaching me. The distance was close enough, so I didn't have to rush. Then a dry gunshot cracked. The boar was hit and fell down, struggling a few times before going still. Unlucky for it, just having escaped Jackson's shot, it fell straight into my sights. The hunt today was still not over. By early afternoon, I was still eager, carrying my rifle to scout around the area. This time, I went close to the forest edge. I couldn't take my eyes off the thick, dense bushes in front, and my instinct was right. Another wild boar appeared. Judging by its reflexes and speed, there was no time to think. I immediately raised my rifle, aimed, and pulled the trigger. It almost escaped, but in the end, I still won. After more than an hour wandering around the area, my muscles started to ache. I decided to stop by an open patch of land on the way home and end the hunt early. Hiding near the roadside, I heard dogs barking loudly from afar. Suddenly, a wild boar dashed into the open space. I raised my rifle, calmly waited for the right moment, then pulled the trigger. The first shot made the boar collapse and slide along the ground, but it still got up and ran. Without hesitation, I fired a second shot and watched the prey thrash from a distance. That shot ended today's hunt perfectly. Though tired, I felt very satisfied to have killed quite a few wild boars. Each one taken down means one less trouble for our local people.